You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to episode 129. Mike and I are excited to be here. We got a huge episode, Parkway Playoffs going. Mike and I got in a real heated debate that we're going to bring to the podcast today. So we got some big things coming at you. But before we do that, let me hit you with our upcoming schedule. Yesterday was March 24th. The brackets came out. Mike and I are going to dissect that today for you and kind of turn that into a fine powder for you. So that was yesterday. Those brackets came out with the voting coming out on Wednesday, the 26th. That's what we got, as far as Parkway Playoff is concerned. Today, episode 129. Mike, wave to the camera. We're here on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing, watching, following along with us on YouTube there. If you are listening, give us a 5-star rating, all that stuff. Rate, review, subscribe. We say it all the time. Really, really helps us out. As I said, Wednesday, you got the voting starting at noon for the final four for the Parkway Playoff. It is I'm sure, and as we're recording this now, I have not seen the results. Mike is going to share them with me when we get to that part of the episode. But we got the final four going. That voting starts at noon. And then at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, we are releasing a video at Canoebrook Country Club. Last fall, Mike and I were fortunate enough to go up there. We played the North Course. We played the South Course. We had a great time with Reed Lansinger, who's the head pro there. Just an awesome time. That video is going to come out, as I said, Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Words are tough, Mike.
Got a lot of dates over there.
A lot of dates. That'll be, you'll see that we're going to premiere that like we did the Hamilton Farm video. That'll be over on the YouTube channel. Again, go check that out, 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Thursday, our interview this week is with Rich Kennedy. It is March 27th when the interview's coming out. Posting season for New Jersey starts April 1st. So who better than to have the director of handicapping and membership services for New Jersey Golf than Rich Kennedy, who does the handicapping. So we're going to have him on. We're going to talk about the handicap system, new updates, kind of how it works. We've kind of always talked. We get some flack about how are you? Like when my handicap was in double digits. I've seen you hit good shots. You make pars all the time on the Ryan's verse. How are you an 11? And it kind of goes to show you don't see the rest of the round. There's 17 other holes out there that you're missing out on. But it's Rich is going to kind of break down for us the handicap system, maybe give us some insights that we don't know about or you guys don't know about, or some things that maybe can help with the handicap system. So we got Rich on Thursday for our interview. And then Friday this week, the 28th, is the very last Physical Fitness Friday. Dr. Mike and I did our testing. We're in the Fortress of Swolitude. We tested the TPI, the force plates, the 4D motion. We test everything, and we kind of do the same thing we did for episode 1, but just see how the numbers were and go from there. It was really quite a journey that Dr. Mike and I were on all winter, starting back to November, December. So, this is episode 16. So it's been 16 weeks. And yeah, this is the ultimate episode, the finale. Dr. Mike and I, putting out our final episode. So that's our schedule for this week. We got loaded week as usual, and it's only going to get more busier, Mike, with golf season officially starts next week. So, and we got golf weather out there. Big things in New Jersey coming.
Yeah, listen, I hope a lot of people got out this weekend and played because, Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be relatively nice, all things considering. So, as the fast facts go through, and I think last week I set a record, I think I might even be quicker this week because unfortunately, not a lot has transpired. So first and foremost, the PGA Tour, John Pack did make the cut. Chris did not make the cut. And it really wasn't of anything entertaining from our New Jersey guys on the PGA Tour. So there's not much to report on what happened last week. This week, as we head to the Texas Children's Open there in Houston, Max, Chris, and John are all in the field. Scotty's in the field. Rory's in the field. It's a loaded field out there, and I think it's kind of the last, kind of for that big gun, their last prep before Augusta kind of sneaks up on us. So that's it on the PGA Tour. Korn Ferry Tour is off, and
off for a while. They got like 3 or 4 weeks off, right? Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to re-tee it up till April. But I guess the one thing I do want to add in here to your, teasing of the golf weather is be on the lookout. Come April, Mike versus Ryan versus, and then the fan favorite of Ryan versus Mike will premiere. We're getting these things up and going. I know people have asked us, when are you going to start putting out some golf content? Well, be ready. The week of April 7th, here we come, fast and furious.
Stuff's coming up quick. So yeah, we're out there. We're moving. We're shaking. It's going to be good. I like that you called it Ryan versus Mike, and in all of my stuff that I have on my side, I call it Mike versus Ryan.
Well, listen, I kind of wasn't sure what it was really titled, so I had to go back to one of the prior episodes, and it says Ryan versus Mike. So I just kind of wrote that in. So that's what I got this week.
I think you're the better golfer. So it is me versus you, and you have the second person. It's like this person versus the champ, the challenger versus the champ. So that's what we'll go with till you bring your.
Can I get a crown?
We can get you a crown.
Today's episode is brought to you by All County Exteriors, your go-to for anything exterior home remodeling. Discover the excellence of All County Exteriors, a third-generation leader in premier exterior home remodeling, proudly celebrating over 40 years of success. While most remodeling companies last just 5 years, All County Exteriors has withstood the test of time, consistently delivering top-quality roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Their expertise extends from small repairs to large additions, serving homeowners and builders alike. More than just a construction company, All County Exteriors is deeply committed to community service, proudly supporting organizations such as the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the American Cancer Society, Roofs for Troops, and Parents of Autistic Children. If you have planned to do any exterior remodeling, call now for an instant 20% off savings on your next project. This is a limited time offer. Call now for a free, no obligation consultation. Just call 732-370-2780 or email them at info@allcountyonline.com. That's 732-370-2780 for All County Exteriors for all your remodeling needs. So I got a few things as I know you teased everybody at the top about our public golf DM conversation. And normally it's you and I texting. This was through DMs. So it's kind of crazy that you and I communicate all different ways. Mm-hmm. But I do want to put this out there because I know last Tuesday's episode was an interesting one. We argued about what Golf Pass put out, so on and so forth. And if people don't know, you're always welcome to shoot us an email at the dropgolfpodcast@gmail.com. And we did get a little email from a new follower, Mark. He sent me a little email giving me some info about how Golf Pass did it and some of the questions that you and I had, why this course wasn't on there, so on and so forth. So he says to me, I'm a new listener to the show, and I heard your most recent episode. I'm guessing you guys don't use Golf Now to book tee times, which you and I don't use that. I don't know if you do. I'd say we
have, yes, do, no.
Okay. So here's how they do it. They basically ask all the people at the end of a booking round on Golf Now to rate all the golf courses, okay, that they play. But the catch is a course like Hominy Hill, for example, that you and I said, how is that not even on there, isn't even listed. So for someone who wants to rank it, would have to be unprompted from an email. So then he goes on to say, they also ask you when you paid, what you paid when you played those certain golf courses. So sometimes it's a little cheaper than it actually is. So,
okay. So it's like using one of those like third party apps kind of thing, like to book a time.
More or
like
less,
they got the hot deals and okay.
Right. Yeah. So more or less. So if I think that goes back to the conversation you and I were having last week, is why some of these courses aren't on there. It's hard to say these are the best ones, but from a clickbait perspective, I get it, what they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. But
Hominy Hill wasn't even on their list, so you can't even rank it. So that's why it's not even the top 20. So I do appreciate Mark sending us that little note. And anybody else that's out there that has information that we don't know about, obviously the email is out there. The DMs are open. We love getting that. We love getting that. So I just figured I'd toss it out there to you about that.
It's Mark. Thanks for sending something in. It is good to at least, while I still don't agree with the Golf Pass ratings, or rankings, I should say, not ratings, the rankings. It is good to get some more information as to why, like now I at least understand why Hominy wasn't on there, right? I can still look at the list and say, okay, if this was the courses that were available, I might not agree with the listing of it, but at least I can now understand a little bit more why. So Mark, thanks for jumping in there.
No doubt. And then I guess we got to start, before we even get into March Madness, we got to talk about our little conversation here. And I'm going to let you start this out because you initiated the DMs.
Okay. So actually, Mike, before you do that, I was out watching some college basketball this weekend, and I do want to give two guys a shout out. My guy CK and Steely Neely for just gave us some nice compliments. I saw them out. We were, again, they were watching basketball kind of on different sides. They really like what we're doing, and that, hey guys, I appreciate the compliments. Thanks for saying some nice things to us.
Oh, listen, gotta love things like that.
Yeah.
Listen, I know that you're not on the phone as much as I am, but no one loves getting those comments more than me, because I think it just kind of validates, like, all right, we are doing things in the New Jersey golf space that people enjoy. This is not a selfish thing. This is not for you and I just to go. This is for us to talk, experience, play, all the things that people want to hear. So it's always nice to hear people enjoying the good that we're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. So yeah, it was nice to get some unprompted compliments outside of this. Frankly, Mike, from friends. Like it's not like these are two strangers. Like we've had strangers come up, say, like when I was waiting in line for the Happy Gilmore thing, like people came up to me and say, "Hey, Ryan from the Drop. Yeah, hey, what's up? Like, love what you do." Those are always great, but it's not all the time that like friends of yours come up and say like, and I would call them friends. They're not like super tight, close, my best friends I see every weekend. Like I said, I was at a bar, not with them. They were across the bar, but it was nice. It's nice when people, kind of validate what you're doing. Cause we don't always get that from our closest friends, just cause you're just doing what you're doing. Right. So anyway, let's get into this. Mike, I don't have who the account was from. I can pull it up right now, but it did make its way around socials this past weekend, where it was a guy talking to, and now I'm not going to be able to pull it up and find his account. Here we go. Hold on. It's his account is called the John Natale, I think it is. The John Natale, and he does. If you look at his account, this is the only real golf thing I saw on his account. He's got a bunch of other like real estate things on there. So I think it was more pushing for a real estate perspective. But nonetheless, he put a video out talking about how Monmouth County and the Monmouth County Park System have the best county courses in the state. And he talked about Charleston Springs, Hominy Hill, Shark River, and Howell Park. And I sent it to you. And I was shocked at the comment you made back. And then we went back and forth. I think that he's correct in that. I think Monmouth County Park System has the best county system parks in the state. And we kind of went back and forth there. I'll let you go into more your side of the argument. But from a perspective, like, I'm not even saying that Hominy Hill is the best county course in the state. But even if it's not, the depth that they have, I knock Shark River all the time here. And I mean it as like a measuring stick. I don't hate Shark River. I played Shark River quite a bit during the golf season. It's always a nice track. It's always a good layout. Yes, there's no driving range, but it's for what you're getting playing there. It's not going to be a bad day, right? So for me, I think that Monmouth County has the best courses in the state as far as this county, like run by the county courses go. You disagreed. Why don't you tell the people your side and why?
Everything is happening at Galloping Hill Golf Course in 2025. Where else can you play on 27 holes of golf, practice at a lit and heated driving range, eat and drink all year round at a sports bar, host the wedding of your dreams, and now enjoy one of the only municipally owned golf simulators in the country? The Swing Suite at Galloping Hill uses state-of-the-art Unicore technology that allows you to play any of the greatest courses in the world or use the great technology to work on your game. The newly reopened concession stand serves all of your pub favorites and seasonal beers on tap while you hang out, watch the game, and compete with your friends. Head to learningscenterghgc.com to book your slots now. At the Hill Tavern in the main clubhouse, kids eat free all winter long. The banquet space never shuts down either, hosting over 150 golf outings and over 400 social events per year. Their catering team consistently wins awards each year from the Knot and Wedding Wire. Schedule a tour for your special event at the clubhouse at gallopinghill.com. And to top it all off, Galloping Hill has been chosen for the record 12th time to host the 91st New Jersey Men's Public Links Championship. It's all happening this year at Galloping Hill Golf Course. Well, first off, I need to preface this. When you sent it to me, I commented back, you need to make a stitch to this video telling him why he was wrong. Your response was, I don't know what that means.
That's correct. So, yes. I don't know what stitches.
So for our TikTok followers, what it is you put that guy's video in there, then you stitch yourself in and you
like my ghost face, I'm just a floating head.
Green screen. Yeah, then you make a green screen and say like, oh, here's why this guy's wrong.
Okay.
Right. So you telling me you don't know what that means.
I didn't know what that was.
We got to get you connected more with like the 16, 17-year-old teenage world about really what's going on in the TikTok generation.
Again, if people don't believe I'm not on my phone, I'm not on my phone.
That's it. I said stitch. He put his hands up.
Yeah.
I obviously countered with that. Okay. And I said Essex County, ? And I said, what about Francis Byrne? I said, what about Hendricks Field, Weequake? Like, what about them? And you said, I don't agree. Okay. I said, agree to disagree. And then your response is, that's not how you agree to disagree works. Well, I then had to go into a numbering system in terms of with what you asked me questions and I just answered them, agree to disagree. I put an X, I said, agree to disagree. And then you sent me some things back that just didn't make sense to me. So
I figured I would just yell.
Yeah. And the point came across. I said this about Essex County, and I am not saying that there is as many golf courses clearly when it comes to the quantity of what's in Monmouth County, but it's hard to argue the quality isn't comparable. Now, I think personally that Francis Byrne is better than Hominy Hill. So if I looked at their number one versus the number one, I'm going to Essex County for the number one. Then this is where it can get dicey when you start going down the line.
So that's where and that's fine. Like you can agree to that. Like that's while I might not, I still would also say, first off, how dare you? Second off, that's where Hominy Hill is where this podcast started. How dare you treat that place like a dirty old rag doll? No. But when I asked you, like, we have to get there, legitimately get there, because when we did play there, to my point, we played. Did we even get 18 holes in?
We played the back 9 twice.
But did we play 18? I don't even know if we played it.
Yeah, we did because
Okay.
we came up because we had to play through somebody on 17 to make sure we got done.
Gotcha. That's right. The second time. Yeah. So we didn't even, because it was too slow out there. There was too many people. Like, you and I jumped out and we just doubled back. So so it's been a long time since you've played the whole course there, is my understanding. We need to make that happen. And if at that point you say Francis Byrne is still better, then I'll say, okay, while I don't agree, my opinion is different. At least we have something to go off of, right? That would be my thoughts there. So then what you were about to say is that, okay, you mentioned 3 courses. If you want Francis Byrne, I want Hominy Hill. Okay, 1 versus 1. You think it's Francis, I think it's Hominy. Now we go 2 versus 2, right, as you were about to say.
Right. So I said, you have Charleston, and I kind of combined Charleston the same way that guy did in the clip that you sent me and just said Charleston, they got 36. And I compared it to Hendricks Field, right? I said, that's probably the number 2 on both sides there. I gave it to Charleston. I think Charleston's phenomenal facility, 36 holes, unreal putting green, grass driving range, 2 great golf courses in always very, very good shape, even if the people there aren't always the happiest. Okay. Right. You like that one? I knew you liked that one. I knew you liked that one.
It's true.
It is. But whatever the case is, it doesn't stop me from going
correct
to that golf. So I said Charleston is number 2. Yeah. I gave you that one. So now it's kind of like a 1-1. Mm-hmm. Now this is when, for me, I kind of left it in the gray area, because I hear the things that you say all the time about Shark River, and it's this and that, and Howell Park, it's this and that. Like I toggle that in the back of my mind, and I have not gotten to Weequahic, and I know that, Tim has told me about all the work they're doing there. Zach's told me about all the work that's going on there.
Right. Stephen K's wants us up there.
We've clearly heard from Stephen K about what he thinks about the place. So we've heard from those people about what's going on there. So I kind of left that in like a TBD type area, because I didn't knowing what you've said and not being able to experience Weequahic, I kind of said, okay, if I'm ranking the 3 and the 3 best, to me right now it's a draw. I'm going Essex County just to create an argument with you.
So and that's where I would disagree, because I am saying, first, I also think Charleston Springs, I think maybe even both courses are better than Hominy. That's how much I like Charleston Springs. But I know that I'm in the minority there, because most people like Hominy Hill better than they like Charleston Springs, or it gets more rated then. So that's why I use it as number 1. But I also think those are 2 different courses. One's a link style, one's a Parkland style. It is 2 different courses. So I would pick one and go against Hendricks Field, which either way, I think both of those courses are nicer than Hendricks. Weequahic, I'm sure, is going to turn out beautifully. And I know that I've knocked Shark River. I don't think I've knocked Howell Park much at all.
My issue with those, I feel like they just get clumped together, and I was basing it off the reel. The guy said Charleston Spring, and he said, clump them together. So I was like, all right, you know what? If that guy's clumping together, I'm clumping them together.
Okay. So Howell Park it is, Mike, another course that I need to get to. I know I live a lot closer to it than you do, but I need to get there because last year they did a renovation. They had a circus green for number 12 that they kind of flattened out. There was really only one spot on the green where you could hit it and not have the ball roll off the front of the green. So they redid a couple things there. I think they did some greens, some bunkers, and some tee boxes there. So I do want to get over there this year and see the course, because I haven't, to be fair, I haven't seen it, but I do like it there a lot. It's a great county course as far as county courses go. Is it better than like other semi-private or semi-public places? Probably not, but it is when you're talking about courses that are run by the municipality that are county courses, like we're talking about, it's a great county course. And I know I've knocked Shark quite a bit. And that knocking of Shark is knocking in comparison to the other county courses that we have there. I think if anyone were to come down and play Shark River from somewhere else, they're going to have a great time. It's a good layout. No, there's not a driving range, but it's a good golf course. It's not blowing anybody away. But if you're from the North Jersey and you're coming down to, let's say, Belmar, and you got a beach house at Belmar for a week, and you're going to go to the closest public course and you go play Shark River, you're going to have just a fun time. You are. It's not going to, you're really going to walk away from being like, that course was a lot of fun. I got what I wanted to get out of it. And that's not, I'm not trying to knock, like, it's not some dog track, thing like that. It's still a good golf course. It's just in comparison to Charleston and Hominy and Howell, it is very clearly the fourth or fifth, depending on if you want to count Charleston as two, of the county courses there. So that's kind of where I come from. I don't mean to like hammer it with like it's some dog track. I wouldn't host dog fights there because I wouldn't want the dogs to get hurt, kind of thing. It's still a good golf course. So even still, like, you left the Week Wake, going back to your point, you left Week Wake in the gray area. Week Wake would have to be exceptional. And even with all the redo and all that, it could still be really nice. I'm not sure it's going to be better than what we have. And then to this guy's point, which I think was the ultimate thing, you are out of courses in Essex County, and we still have one of the Charleston's, Hominy, Howell, and Shark. So it's kind of the depth there. It's not just top heavy; it's also deep. That's where I'm coming from in my Monmouth County Parks Golf County Courses ratings there.
Agree to disagree.
That's not how that works.
I was waiting for you to end because I knew that's exactly what I was going to say. But I think, to your point, it led us to this conversation, right? This is what we were talking in the pre-show. Okay, if you take out the municipally run part of the conversation and you're looking at all the counties in New Jersey, all the public golf, right? The golf courses that we all can just go book a tee time anytime we want. What is the best county, from municipally run to management run to individually owned? If you went up and down, east and west, and looked at all the counties, in your eyes, what is the best county? Are you sticking with your boys in Monmouth, or are you venturing outside the borders?
So it is funny that you said this, because if you remember way back when, we had Orson on, who had all of the public courses that he's played in New Jersey, right? And he gave us the list of it, by county. And when we look at that list, Mike, and you and I were doing this pre-show, we can basically get it to 4, right? I think that's fair. You have Atlantic, you have Essex, Monmouth,
and Sussex.
Were the 4 counties that really is the fight. There's some other really nice courses, right? If we were to let's bring up Hudson. Hudson just has Skyway. You and I both love Skyway. It's a really great course. It's only 9 holes and there's only one. So we kind of took Hudson out of it, because even if it was 18 holes, it's only one course. So it's really not getting the what's the word I'm looking for? It's not getting the depth that these other ones have, right? But if you look, Atlantic County, where you have Blue Heron Pines, this is just naming some off the top here. Blue Heron Pines, it used to be Renault. Is it Vineyard National now? Which I played years and years and years ago when it was Renault Winery, and I was unimpressed with the course. But I'll tell you, I think since it changed to Vineyard National, and I don't know when that change was. People absolutely love it there, Mike. So
Yeah,
I think
it's the same owners that bought LBI National.
So maybe there's maybe we got to take a trip there. It's been years and years since I've played there, but people talk very highly about it. But Blue Heron Pine, Vineyard National, Ballamore, Twisted Dunes, Seaview Bay, Seaview Pines, like right there, those are 6 that are really, really excellent. And that's a tough one right there. Tough one. And yeah, I don't, if we go, you want me to keep going? Should I keep going through all the?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I know how you go. You're going to give me your top 4. I was looking for your best one. I was seeing if you're sticking with your boys at Monmouth, but I was kind of curious where you went with it.
I was just kind of going to give them there. So you got, what did I say? Atlantic. Yep. Where do we got to go now?
You can go to Sussex. You can go to Essex. You can go to Monmouth.
Where Essex is, right, we just talked about Francis Byrne, Weequahic, Hendricks Fields. You also have Rock Spring.
Big time.
And that's, you add in now, and again, I think Weequahic is the wild card there. We know how good Rock Spring is. We know how good Francis Byrne is. Hendricks Fields was excellent, was really good as well. It's a nice little track.
Top heavy. Definitely top heavy.
Definitely top heavy there. But when you add in Rock Spring, you got 2. That's a Tyson 1-2 punch right there that you have for sure. And then you get to Monmouth, and here's the knock for me with Monmouth here. You got Hominy. You got Hominy, Charleston, North and South, Howell, Shark. And then the other private or public course that you get, like we don't get Rock Spring. We get Colts Neck Golf Club. Yes, there's Cream Ridge, Gamblers Ridge. Sun Eagles went public. If Sun Eagles is still private, I would say Sun Eagles would
flip that. Sun Eagles went private. They were public.
Sun Eagles went private. So I would think if Sun Eagles was in it and they were still public, that would be the Rock Spring. That's the punch you need, but you got to take them out. I know Nob Hill is semi-private. I just don't think that brings the cachet. Like I would think Colts Neck is a little nicer. And then you have some executive. You have like Bel Air. You got Colonial Terrace or William Larkin Golf Course there. So you have some others that are just like they're not bringing the thunder like a Rock Spring does, right? So you're still kind of on the municipals plus a Colts Neck.
And don't forget about your boys up at Sussex. That's the final. That's the top 4.
And that's where I'm getting to. Sussex. And now, Mike, people might say this is unfair, but Sussex, you have the Crystal Springs Resort courses. So you have Black Bear, Ballyowen, Crystal Springs, Wild Turkey, and Cascades. Now, we didn't get to play Crystal Springs or Cascades, and we know that those, where those kind of sit in the realm of those places. But even still, if you want to go those 3, those are a good 3. People love the Great Gorge courses as well. Like those are 3 9-holes at that facility. So you got the Great Gorge as well there. You have High Point golf course up there is where what town is that in? It's in like a funny name like Montesquieu or something like that. So you have a whole bunch of courses up there, even though they might fall under the umbrella of Crystal Springs. You still got to count them. So you have so many great courses there. It's really it's a great argument. It does bring up a much deeper argument there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Sussex is loaded. I mean, there's no 2 ways around it. You could talk about Farmstead. That's supposedly a spot that people want us to get up to. Skyview is another spot that we've communicated with, and Rolling Greens as well. Like, there's a lot of spots up there that we've communicated with that, unfortunately, is a little bit of a hike for us that we'd have to make a whole day of it. But listen, I think that kind of circles back to my question to you now. What is your number 1 county in New Jersey for the best public golf courses to play?
I think it's tough, Mike. I think, honestly, I think we're going to have to table this, and I think we're going to have to think it out. We may have to put it to a vote. Maybe we do this after the Parkway playoff. But, I mean, Atlantic's tough with Ballamore and the Bay course. And let me tell you, the Pines course is an underrated course at Seaview. People don't talk about it like they should. It needs a lot more love. I got to play a few holes on it very recently, and let me tell you, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I can't wait to get down there and play it actually when it's open and when it's firing, kind of on all cylinders a little later this spring. But yeah, it's Atlantic is really tough. And I think it's the depth maybe, but Essex, again, Rock Springs and Francis Burn, that's a Tyson 1-2 knockout there.
Yeah,
which one are you taking?
I looked at this in depth.
Yeah,
there's not a question
in depth. I didn't look too much.
For me, it's not a question. I would say Essex County has the best county golf courses in New Jersey. I think when you're talking Rock Spring, you're talking Seth Rayner, used to be private, now it's public. We had an unbelievable time back there 2 years ago. We'll definitely be up there this spring to go experience it. I think that could be potentially a top 5 in New Jersey public golf courses. I think people heard our rant and rave about Francis Burn, about how good that Banks course was when we got to go play there, being out there with Tim and learning all the ins and outs of that. I was blown away with Hendricks Field. It may be short in length, but man, oh man, did it challenge you to be very precise with hitting your golf shots. You had to, basically, poke and prod your way around that place other than just, rip and bomb it, because you could get in a lot of trouble. I just, I'm dying to get out to Weequahic to see what it's like. So I understand it may not have the depth that you've been talking about from Atlantic or Monmouth, but I think from my perspective, when I'm looking at the cream of the crop or the best of the best, those top heavy courses for me outweigh quantity, because I look at the quality being a little higher there.
You think say that again, the quality is higher, so you'd rather have lesser quantity, more quality.
100%.
And see, I think I'd rather go the other way. I'd rather have a little bit less, because then you're saying that you're saying that Ballamore is some dog track compared to the other two. And I'm not, and hold on, I'm not saying that it is, but I'd rather have courses okay, if you're going to say that Francis Burn and Rock Spring are both better than Ballamore, I'm not going to disagree there. But I don't think that the jump from those two to Ballamore is so significant that I would rather play those two all the time, as opposed to it might be Ballamore, Seaview, Twisted Dunes. Those are not so far removed that Rock Springs and Francis Burn might be better, but I'd rather have 4 great courses as opposed to 2 really great courses. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't think that drop is so significant that I'd rather have more quantity than just 2 specific things.
Totally get it. And I guess we're going to have to put this out to the audience to kind of get their feedback on it as well, because it is a great question, and it's up for great debate. No doubt about it.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how to push this out, because it is a great question, because Essex definitely, with only 5 public courses in it, they can't all be rock stars. We know that they got 2. And then, you put Monmouth, and we didn't even talk about Sussex with, again, I've said it. I think Ballamore or Ballyowen might be the best in the state. So, it's a great question. It really is. We're going to have to figure out a way to roll that out. Maybe after the Parkway playoff, we'll revisit this. But yeah, that's excellent. Really great question. Good on that guy, John. Good on John for putting that out. So. All
right. Well, let's pivot here to the March Madness. You keep bringing up the Parkway playoff. Well, let's talk about it because I got my, sheet of integrity right here. I got all the information on my card here.
Okay. Again, Mike, I like to give everybody the heads up here. I don't know anything about these. Haven't looked yet. I'm gonna pull up the list
brackets
right now. The brackets.
So as you're pulling this up, let me kind of just quickly go through this. Now, obviously, again, I'm done harping on the numbers because I think they speak for themselves in terms of the following, the voting, the views, people sharing it left and right. Like, obviously, I don't need to continue to echo that. Our appreciation for people doing that, hopefully, is understood that we can't thank them enough for really putting this out there. But you had 8 unbelievable private golf courses in this Elite Eight. And it was heavyweight matchup after heavyweight matchup with really 2 blowouts and 2 really close matchups. So as you're pulling this up, Rye, can you take a guess as to which were the 2 blowouts and which is the 2 really, really tight matchups?
Well, I should say this. Is it up on your screen right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I see it.
You made it seem like it wasn't, so I was like, what's going on here?
No, I got it. Sorry.
Let's see. There were 2 blowouts and 2 close ones. Due Process, Atlantic City, Bedminster, Somerset. I'm going to say Lower versus the Ridge at Backbrook was a blowout. And I'm going to say Somerset Hills, Trump, Bedminster was a blowout.
Okay, so the first blowout was Due Process doubled up ACCC.
Wow.
Doubled them up. It was 69% Due Process to only 31% Atlantic City. So Due Process ran away with that. So really, really wasn't close there. And the other one you did get right, Baltusrol Lower dismantled the Ridge at Backbrook 76% to 24% on the other side.
76. Wow.
Yeah, that was the biggest blowout. Now, the next one in line was Somerset Hills. You did mention they won 57% to 43. So Somerset kind of, had a lot of views on that thing. That was shared a lot of times from people out there at Somerset, which then causes Somerset Hills versus Due Process in the final 4 on the left side. And the other side is where the closest matchup was. Bayonne just snuck by Baltusrol Upper 53% to 47%. It was a very, very tight matchup there. And now our final 4 is live.
How many votes was the Bayonne Balti Upper?
25.
Wow.
It was tight.
Very close.
Yep.
Mike, I think we got, when you and I looked at this of the right-hand side of the bracket originally, I think we looked at a Bayonne Balti Lower final as being what it should be, right? If you look, both these courses are highly ranked in the state. Balti Lower having courses, having PGA tournaments played at it. It's got all the ranking and recognition. And then Bayonne being up there as a top 5 course in the state. I think that you looked at it being like, okay, these are the 2 that should be here, right? I don't think on the other side, I don't think that Due Process in Somerset Hills was that, right? Like, I think you looked at it and you were like, okay, they're, between Mountain Ridge, Hollywood, Somerset, even Chris said it, like, how do you make that an 8-9 matchup or a 7-10 matchup, right? So I think that's, I think that we were kind of interested as to what we were going to get from this top left side here, but this on the right-hand side, Bayonne Lower is what it should be.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think the right side was very predictable. I think we can definitely say we could have probably looked at that very early on and said Bayonne and Balti Lower are probably going to be in the final 4. Now, the other side, to your point, was very interesting because the bottom side was loaded and the top side wasn't in terms of name recognition, in terms of following on Instagram. And that's, for me, I'm beyond stunned that a place like Due Process that has no social media, has nothing out there, that hasn't shared anything once. They love to live in that like exclusivity world of nobody knows much about us. We're kind of behind the scenes, but we love that. And for them to make the Final Four, in my eyes, is kind of like the Cinderella story right now.
Mm-hmm.
The real question is, can they get past the Goliath that has been 100% in on our March Madness, with sharing it, with pushing it, with voting? Very interesting tomorrow to see how this whole thing unwinds.
Yeah, it certainly will be. So I think due process is, I've said this before, due process is like Tortuga from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. It's only known by people who know how to get there. So it is kind of like that Cinderella, very hidden. They're good with being in the under, like, we don't need to be talked about, we know how good we are kind of place. Somerset Hill's obviously the opposite of that. And then if you look at it, even going back to the Elite Eight with Bayonne, Balti Upper, Balti Lower, and the Ridge, I think if we were to look back and take just the golf course into consideration here with these original 16, I think that would be the way that we would have it, based on the rankings there, taking out, like, thinking, okay, well, this place doesn't share anything, this place shares everything, this has a big following. So I think that's what you have. From what it sounds like, Mike, you think you got Somerset taking the left side? I
do. Listen, but I can't lie. You talk about Cinderella story. These guys have doubled up almost everybody they've played. So I'm going to guess, if you ask me the final, it's Somerset Hills. And I think the other side, I'm just going to stick with my boys at Bayonne, just because maybe this is like my one shining moment to get us on Bayonne. So I'm just going to keep riding with them. But I wouldn't be surprised if Balti Lower wins. I wouldn't. Either side.
Yeah.
At this point, the Final Four, it's the cream of the crop with a Cinderella story.
Yeah, it really is. I have Somerset on the left, and I'm really torn here between Bayonne and Lower. I think I'm giving the nod to Balti Lower. A little more, like, more widely known prestige, I guess, would be what I would go with here. But yeah, I think this is going to be a super big battle. This is a Tyson versus Ali battle right here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like George Foreman when he took down Frazier, and RIP George Foreman, by the way. Don't know if you know, George Foreman did pass.
I heard.
So, it's just for current events for anybody else out there. Yeah. We're bring a little bit of everything here in the golfing in the Garden State. Who didn't have a George Foreman grill?
At some point, yeah.
So, but voting goes live.
I had a friend burn his foot on a George Foreman grill.
See? Yeah, there you go, George Foreman. But nonetheless, listen, voting goes live noon tomorrow. It's going to be one of those fun days, and I can't lie, I'm always refreshing it to see where things are. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned there, Mike. You got anything else for the people today?
That's it. I'm ready to. Listen, I'm antsy. I'm excited. We got some big things starting in April. Boy, oh boy, the audience is going to love what we got coming.
Yeah, it's going to hit the ground running for us for sure. As we start at the top, like April 1st is around the corner. Golf season is here. We're no longer in that getting horny for golf, as I've said before. We're in it's golf season. Golf weather is here. It's was beautiful this weekend. It's been, we've had a great spring as far as, like, it might be a little bit chilly or a little windy, but you can still get out there and golf. For sure. It's been an exciting spring, no doubt. And then with April 1st starting the official start to the season, That's not worded correctly, but you know what I mean. It's no doubt is this an exciting time for us. So that's all we got. So then stay tuned on Thursday. Our interview again for Thursday's episode is Rich Kennedy, who is the director of handicapping and membership services for NJ Golf. It used to be the NJ. Mike, why am I blanking on the initials?
NJSGA.
NJSGA used to be the New Jersey State Golf Association. They rebranded. Now they're NJ Golf again, same organization, just a little rebranding. We've already talked about that, but Rich is again director of handicapping and the gin and all that kind of stuff. So we got Rich on Thursday. So make sure you're watching that, listening to that, staying tuned for that. Till then, cheers.